Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals. Just a second. Give me 1 second. Just log off. Good evening again. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals for the hearing evening of Tuesday, July 22nd. My name is Rob Champetti. I have the privilege of serving as chair of the ZBA. This evening, we'll go through our agenda as it exists online, and for anyone who is following along online, we'll be broadcasting through Zoom as well. And for those of you not familiar, this device, pardon me, called the OWL, basically will be broadcasting for those that are logging in from home. I'll go over just quickly what that means for everyone that's logging in at home. We have 3 matters that are on the agenda this evening. I'm going to take a moment and just walk us through an introduction of the board. We'll call the roll, establish that we have a legal quorum. And for anyone in the room who's not familiar, we'll go through just a quick snapshot of the evening. We do have one request for a continuance, which is usually, at least as of its recent filing, the 45-story Avenue comprehensive permit, subject to 40B. That matter has been requested by the applicant to be continued to the hearing of August 12th, and that is for the reasons significantly to do with the traffic study and traffic analysis and the peer review materials. The peer review analysis is not quite finished. We as a city board, once it is, have the opportunity and will take the opportunity to vet it and review it with our own peer review traffic analyst. So all of that is taking an additional cycle of meetings. So we won't be able to rush that, and nor will we, but I just want to let anyone know who's listening or in the room, that's, we will continue the 40B application on August 12th. So that leaves 3 matters that are before us this evening: a continuation of 20 Erie Avenue, 164 Old Point Road. So 2 matters, I should say. I'll take a moment and, yeah.
The other one,
Oh, okay, that's right. 164 Old Point Road has been requested to be continued also to the meeting of August 12th. Thank you. So really, this is a continuation this evening of 20 Erie Avenue. I was absent last evening, but I qualified myself along with Mr. Delisle, who was also absent and has qualified himself. So the 2 of us are able to continue to vote and deliberate and participate in that matter. So taking a moment and calling the roll of the Newburyport Zoning Board of Appeals, Mr. Stephen Delisle. Here. Mr. Gregory Beck. Here. Mr. Walter Shannon. Here. Mr. Larry Gitt. Here. Jared, hi, Mr. Jared. Acker. Here. Great. Rob Champetti, I'm here. That's 1. Yes.
I qualified myself also.
Oh, I didn't realize you were.
Yeah, I wasn't here, but I brought my paperwork.
Okay, great. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 members of the ZBA, which is our full board. The 5 voting members this evening. And Ken is online. Sorry. And Ken, can you hear us?
Yes.
Take it you're present then too. Ken, Mr. Ken Swanton is also present remotely. So we have the full board in attendance. We have for this evening, our 5 voting members will be myself, Mr. Delisle, Mr. Bennett, Mr. Shannon, and Ken. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So our 2 alternates will be Mr. Ginta and Mr. Ackerman. So the way that works, if anyone's not familiar, of the 7 voting members of the 7 members of the ZBA, the 5 voting members, and there's always 5 that are established as the voting members. If there is any need for recusal or conflict, and one voting member has to step down, one of the two alternates would step in and participate by being a voting member. Notwithstanding that, they participate, an alternate, Mr. Ginter and Mr. Eigenman this evening will be participating in deliberations, questions, and every other facet except the vote. So since this is just one application and everyone is familiar, as I look around the room, I will dispense with my my normal sort of lay of the land. We'll just get right into the business of this evening. Why don't we start by just taking a vote on the request for continuances, if we could. We have the request on 164 Old Point Road by the applicant to continue the special permit for nonconformities to the hearing of August 12th, 2025.
I just wanted to note one thing, is that we have 4 applications already on 8/12.
Okay.
I'm just giving you a note on that. Attorney Mead has agreed that she would be open to continue to the last meeting in August, which is 8/26.
Okay. All right, so we have 4 already on the agenda for 8/12. That doesn't include the request for 164. So this would be it.
Yep.
I think at the board, we discussed in the interest of focus and just administrative economy, we didn't want to have any more than 4 applications on any given night, especially night where we were dealing with comprehensive permit. So we try to limit it to 4 if we can. This would add a 5th. So on the request on 164 Old Point Road, do we have any discussion?
On 8/26, there's already 234 Merrimack Street, which is, quite complex, and there's 3 associated permits with that one project. That's why to get through.
Okay. What does everyone think? We start. I want to make sure we don't set ourselves.
Well, first of
I'm
all,
already concerned.
why don't we move to take 45 Story Avenue on August 26th? Let's do that.
Do we have a motion to, is there any further discussion on moving that to the 26th? We have a motion to approve and use.
I'll make that motion.
Great, which allows me the motion to continue the matter on the applicant's request to the hearing of 8/26. Thank you, Mr. Ginta. Motion's made by Mr. Delisle, seconded by Mr. Ginta. Calling the roll, Mr. Delisle.
Yes.
Mr. Shannon.
Yes.
Mr. Ginta.
Yes.
Mr. Agnew.
Yeah.
Yes, that's 7. Oh, and sorry, Mr. Swan.
Yes,
7 in the affirmative, the ayes have it, motion carries. That matter will be on the 26th, which leaves, basically, there's just 2 applications. We should probably sequester the rest.
So what are the ones that are on for the 12th?
8/12, you have 2 continuances.
Of which?
So you have the jail, short-term rental,
Oh, yeah.
continuance, 9 Bromfield, special permit for non-conformities, that's
Yeah.
the proposed dormer. 1 new variance at 5 Dawes Ave. 1 special permit for non-conformities, that has not been posted yet, on Plum Island, I'm not sure the address. There's 4 on there now,
Okay.
but there are 2 continuances, so 2 continuances and 2 new applications.
Well, I guess we have no choice. It's not like we have to push the Plum Island one that's on our calendar tonight. 164 Old Point Road to the 26th. So we're gonna have to wait 4 weeks. I mean, it's the same attorney, or the same law firm as 45 Stories. Representation.
I think the 2 continuances would go fairly quick. One of them's the dormer, right?
Mhm.
That won't take much discussion, I wouldn't think, unless the dormer change.
The design will probably likely change.
Right. What was the other continuance?
The jail variance application,
How much notice do the applicants need? Because even if we put a bunch on 12, a bunch of them may fall off the 12 by the time things just happen.
My only concern is I'd be worried to adopt that presumptive strategy. It's certainly possible, and we've seen it happen, but it's so randomized that I fear relying on it. Although I would almost prefer if we just presume that whatever we move stays and do how we feel about that volume and the ability to get through that. Ultimately, having to continue someone last minute during the evening because we can't get to it, but I'll defer to what the rest of us think. My colleagues think. Okay. Was there anything else you should love?
I'm wondering if the third and 26th is just gonna be really difficult, given those two applications. Complexities. Street, and then the comprehensive.
I agree. I have to say, I agree. I'm just very, very cautious to want to, we saw with the first, just the opening, the opening salvo of the 40B application, we saw which time that took. It's very granular. And that's the overview. Now we get into sort of the bricks and sticks.
Well, I mean, if you guys want to do it on the 12th, I'm just trying to,
Yeah,
I wouldn't, it seems a little harsh to push them off to September.
no, I don't disagree. I think I'm okay. Well, does anyone object if we move if we accept the applicant's request of 12, that gives us 5? Then maybe Mr. Ginta's prognostication will come to pass and something. All right, we'll just be nimble enough to see how it goes. That's what it is.
Not that I'm. Till 11, if we either finish them or.
Well, we can, it's what we as a collective. We have made it clear that we're using 10 PM as the hard deck, so to speak, and that's our terminus or, our presumptive terminus at the time, but we can certainly, as a collective, decide that there are reasons by which we feel it's important to just finish up the work and stay a little bit later. I would certainly be inclined to be flexibly minded on that, as I suspect all of you would. So it's not a hard and fast rule. We can choose to bend it as as circumstances suggest we should. If we all vote that way or feel that way, and it seems the work needs to go that way. I'm open to it, so we can just let it go.
Yeah, and just like, I just wanted to throw the thought out there, so get more back. And pushing people out until. September.
Yeah. Okay. Anything further? We have a motion to continue 164 Old Point Road to 8/12/2025. I'll move. Thank you, Mr. Shannon, and a second. Last second, motion is made and seconded, calling the roll, Mr. Delisle.
Yes.
Yeah.
Shannon, yes. Ginta?
Yeah.
Yes.
Mr. Swanton?
Yes.
Yes, that's 70 to affirmative. The ayes have it. Motion carries. That matter is on for the 12th, and that leaves us then to a continuation of 20 Erie Avenue. So we'll get right into that. This is a continuation of 20 Erie Avenue, continued from the last hearing of July 8th. Further continued from 6/24. The applicant seeks all necessary permits, permissions, and approvals for a special permit for nonconformities for the reconstruction of the pre-existing non-conforming single-family home on a lot with insufficient lot area. The new dwelling will expand vertically and will maintain an existing non-conforming front yard setback. Just again, for the audience, and for council, I qualified myself, as did Mr. Ginta, as did Mr. Delisle. All of us were absent, of course, last evening. So nice to see you, council, and
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the board, and I appreciate each of you taking those steps to get yourself qualified for tonight's hearing. I know that's an extra chore, and those meetings are more deliberate when you have to watch them in a video, so appreciate you taking the time to do that. We're here again tonight to bring forward our continued application for this special permit. My client is seeking to do a vertical expansion on the existing footprint of the site, and we've shown you a couple different renditions of this. We've been here the first time back in May, I believe, and we had a 2.5-story colonial with the second story and attic above. After that meeting, we talked about massing and scaling, and my client came back and tried to make some revisions. He did bring it down quite a bit by lowering the roof line, and yet we certainly had some resistance from that. And we understand that, again, the issue was just the sheer size of the building that he was proposing. We were back again. We didn't make, at the third change, we did make some changes. A lot of that was architectural enhancements that allowed us to put space below dormers that removed some of the square footage. And really that was, I'm not saying sleight of hand with the architects and what the town recommended to get us below the square footage. And yet that didn't accomplish what this board was trying to see us do. What I understand we're trying to do here is keep within the zoning matrix and also keep within the confines of how this neighborhood is developing. Okay. What we pointed out is in the last 10 or 15 years, there's been a great deal of turnover in this neighborhood with people buying houses, renovating, upward expansions, and in some instances doing complete tear downs and redevelopments. That's what we're seeking to do. And at the same time, we understand that you can't put a house that you might put in a subdivision in every neighborhood that, and including this one. So what we've come back with is a house that looks at the neighborhood and takes into account everything that's exactly in proximity. Across the street is a two-story house with a full living space over the garage. I have a pretty extensive list of houses that are within an eighth of a mile of this property that also have living space above the garage. And for that reason, after consulting with this board and then going back to our engineer to try to find ways to bring down the scaling, we've come forward today with something we think really accomplishes most of what the town, what this board and what the neighbors had suggested. And I'd like to try to go through that with you today. Okay, so what we have here is what we've done here that's really made a significant difference is we've changed the building height overall by a total of 6 inches coming down off the highest roof edge. We've also managed to reduce the massing substantially by removing the front gable. Now, by removing that front gable, we've taken away a massive amount of roofing that would have provided screening from various sides. And I guess, for lack of a better word, it was adding to the massing, and by removing that gable, we've managed to take that out. What we've done is actually made, in this instance, a 1-story, 1.5-story home. The roof line, as you know, comes down to the first story throughout the property. So this is actually a 1-story home with gabled 2nd-story access. So, and that's what you see. Now, in doing so, we've actually didn't have to reduce the square foot. And in fact, the square footage on the first floor went up by 5 square feet, only because by removing the center gable, we took away some of the, some of the architectural requirements to support that gable, and it allowed us another 4 square feet that we picked up. But otherwise, we're still within the footprint of what the existing structure is. And we've brought down the roof line, as I mentioned, 6 inches overall. There's now what we've done here is brought it down substantially, taking away some of the massing. And I also would like to point out, if you go to sheet 6, there was some concern previously by one of the abutters dealing with, here we go, the privacy issues. Now, previously on this gable side, which abuts Mr. McCullough's property at 20 Erie Avenue, there was a concern because the windows were in a way that potentially could have caused some privacy concerns. So what we did is lowered the windows on the first floor so that they'd be behind a fence line. And on the 2nd story, we raised the window, made it a 20-inch awning style window. There's really no, it's not a sight line that would look or peer into any kind of a butter. So what we've done is, again, tried to listen to what this board has said. We've brought down the overall height of the building substantially. We removed some of the gables considerably. And I think what we've produced here is a product that's very consistent with what's currently existing in the neighborhood and which way the neighborhood's kind of moving in terms of future development. So with that said, happy to answer any questions the board has.
Very good. If there's nothing further in the continuation of the presentation, I will go ahead and thank you for the additional detail and walkthrough. I'll go ahead and close that portion of the presentation and we'll go to public comment. Again, this is a continuation of public comment. If there's something that you wish to share that's new or novel with respect to changes or is an evolution of comments you've made in the past, we welcome you to feel free to make them. Just give us your name and address and feel free to raise a hand if you have anything. Anyone? Yes. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Leanne Graff. I live on 9 Erie Avenue, down. My family has 7 generations invested here in Newburyport. My grandfather was mayor. My father was president of the Rotary Club. My family had a business here. My family is featured in one of the historical wayside boards along the rail trail. Newburyport is my home. It has been changing, upgrading since the historic downtown has been renovated. Change is expected. We are lucky to still live in a very close-knit neighborhood. Most of us were born and raised here. We are there for each other. We attend the kids' birthdays and graduation parties. I've received calls from my neighbors when they knew I wasn't home and saw suspicious activity. They've come to help when I was in a bind. When we had sewer flowing into our basements 3 times last October, Luke came to see if I needed help. Mary frequently checks on Mimi, who is 92 years old. We are a neighborhood, just like I remember growing up. Modest, beautiful homes. Neighbors have passed on, new neighbors have moved in, joining the neighborhood feel. Not that long ago, our neighborhood started changing. Developers from outside the area started scooping up all the quaint small homes, tearing them down and putting in mega homes. No more yards, just a huge house. Instead of a less than $1 million home, we're now getting $2+ million homes, filling in these tiny lots. The people buying these houses are different. Not only are they not part of our neighborhood, they have difficulty saying hi, and sometimes won't even looking. Newburyport is changing rapidly. It's become unaffordable to us who have lived here for generations. We're being pushed out, losing the sense of community. My daughter and grandchildren have already been pushed out. We keep talking about the need for affordable housing. Let's start now. Let's build houses that match what's already on these small streets. Maybe less than $1 million house, instead of $2 to $5 million house. Many of these developers are not from here. They have no interest in the community. They come in, tear down the affordable house, and build a multi-million-dollar home. They sell the home, making millions, and then move on. Please remember how much you are changing our neighborhoods every time we approve the building of these homes. Please. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Graff. Any other comments?
I know you've heard from me enough, but thanks for the right to speak. I think the major issue, as we've said again and again, is the size of the house comparison. But it is an extra small lot. There are only a handful of them on the streets, on our street, and probably in the neighborhood. And I think you would find it difficult to find a house this size and putting up in a lot this size. So just take that into consideration. You have given some good feedback, I think, in the previous discussions that have not been heated. We have a house that's pretty much that needs the conversation, but it seems disrespectful to you all as well as neighbors. And then there is a house across the street going in, I guess. I'm not sure yet. They have pretty in Cape, which is much more in line with the neighborhood, not a bit of a bigger. That's it for me. Thanks.
Thanks very much. Further comment? Yes, sir.
Parents get like a store, 20 area. They're saying they're building on the existing footprint of the house. It's $9 the house, is 51 feet long. Their plan station is going to be 53 or 54 feet. They're adding to it on Mike's side. My side. So there's a section of fence that was not shown in any of the pictures up there when we first started. 10-foot section of fence, 10 foot, 8-foot section of fence, 4-foot section of fence. That section of fence is probably going to be removed and it's going to be moved. If they're going to build it in the existing footprint, I don't see how they can if the numbers don't add up to the existing footprint. It's my phone, but I can get it. It's still available. It's on the city website. So, 51 feet originally. It's still at 34 feet. New house, it's going to be an existing 20-foot garage. And I don't want to split hairs over 3 feet, but it seems like there's just something, it's just not right. It's not like they haven't done it before, they've done it over and over. Like I said before, people want to speak in it. Talk to them at length, going through the same exact thing. My time is worth something. Same way we have to keep on coming back, but I'll keep on coming back. Well, it's on the tape. Just don't think that's right. They can put that size house on that lot, maybe directly behind me. I've been there since before I'm a craft artist. I've been there since 1987, maybe. I grew up in it before I was born in it. But those houses are okay. There's one right behind me that's probably what, 4,000 square feet, maybe 3,800. The white one up the street is probably bigger than that. That's fine. The lot is huge. You could take my house or my lot and double it, and stick it in their backyard. But it's not the same situation. And my neighbors across the street, like Carrie has a little bit bigger than a yard than I do. Leanne has a much bigger yard. That little section, that main strip up that street does not have the property that the other two houses have. The other two properties, totally different. It just doesn't make any sense to me that somebody wants to put that size house on that, especially under all the other circumstances that are going on. With the sewer department, we're not even close to being on the docket for having anybody come out and look at it for years. So, I mean, I just don't understand why. I appreciate it. Appreciate you guys being here. You can't see it. Thanks.
Very good. Thank you, Joe. Anything further? Yes.
Good evening, Karen Lambert, 19 Erie Avenue, excuse me. Just want to again reiterate the sewage and drainage issues that exist on that street, and the continuing construction will further tax that system, which is already antiquated. And given the fact that it's the third time we've come back with, sorry, despite what the attorney says, minuscule changes. We are now here again. And it's kind of obvious to me what this game plan has become. It's to beat us and the board into submission and to just say, fine, go ahead. That's all I have to say.
Good. Thank you, sir. Any further comments in the room? Anyone else wish to speak?
One thing, the attorney meant, you don't receive notices of sending out notices that ideas that we would have to make the house be acceptable. Then, one of us received it. Then,
I only mentioned that when we were here at these meetings, we listened to you, so took that. We were absolutely, but those comments and get the shot.
Okay, thank you again, sir. All right, do we have anyone online? Did I see any other hands in the room before I We've got 3 folks online. Anyone who is logged in via Zoom, listening online now, if you wish to speak or be heard from in connection with this application, just please raise your hand virtually. We'll unmute your mic and ask you to do the same, and we'd be happy to hear from you. Anyone online going once, going twice? Okay, I'll close, and no further comments in the room. I'll close public comments. Closing further public comments, we'll go to questions from the board. Who wishes to start off? As we begin sort of down the table, Mr. Ginta.
I just wanted to bring up on the resident said of the actual dwelling being a bigger size than what exists. I'm sort of toggling back and forth between the pictures of the existing home and then the new home. And the existing home doesn't have any measurements on it, but it certainly seems small.
We do have a floor plan included in the package, and it is actually very much exactly on the same, the site plan shows it. It's exactly on the same footprint. In fact, the latest version of this building is 1 foot shorter from side to side than the
Is
prior.
it on the same foundation or you?
No, it's going to be a new foundation. And in fact, the site plan does show exactly the hash marks are the existing building, and then the solid lines are the new structure.
Can I raise the point, Chris, why we're going with the new foundation? Because the neighbor we have on the right-hand side, the 16 area.
Could you, sorry, you just, if you don't mind just coming up to the mic. I know we can hear you, but I want to make sure.
I'm the owner of 20 area,
Yes.
one of the owners. The house on 16 area, we are about, I think it was 8 feet point something, so we're bringing that conforming lot. This is the reason why we're putting a new foundation in there, so we're going to 10.8.
So they're pulling the foundation away from the lot line, what was previously non-conforming away, so that it's to bring it into compliance.
Okay, Mr. Ginta, was there further questions on that line?
I mean, there's no measurements on it. At least that I'm looking at. And so the new foundation going in, maybe they're the same time, just toggling between the two pictures.
We did provide a site plan this week that shows exactly the location of the new foundation.
That's the existing. You got where I'm going? I'm looking at the revised plan, and I'm actually toggling between 2 tabs, but 1 tab doesn't have any measurement, because it certainly looks smaller than the other one. So I don't know. I'm just a little bit in the dark, because 1 plan doesn't have any measurement.
And I'll just say, Mr. Ginta, we do have plans that you have with the board that do have all of the accurate measurements displayed. So if you're seeking that information, it's available.
Okay,
Thank you, sir.
thank you. Any further questions from the board?
I'll ask them. I'm just going back in time. I think the last meeting, there was a lot of discussion on the bedroom over the garage. And I think some comments were made, if that was missing, it would reduce the massing of the building and make the neighbors to that left side more comfortable. And I guess that those discussions were forgotten about, or just, I mean, it seemed like the board had made inferences to there was a way to make this work. And one of them was that bedroom missing. And that's still there, correct?
It is. And yet, the one thing I want to point out is we're within the zoning matrix. When you're talking about the square footage, we're talking about a vertical expansion of this project. So to the extent that you have to consider whether it's substantially more detrimental or not. Again, it's vertical expansion. So we're looking at massing. And when you say that we, came in here initially, we heard those comments. We brought this building down from a 2.5 story with an attic to a 1.5 story with a dormered 2nd floor. Now, it's very hard to quantify the massing without, I suppose we could do it in the sense of volume, but the volume of this building has substantially changed at each iteration of this project. Now, the interesting thing is, and I was surprised to see it, it didn't have to impact the interior square footage substantially in any kind of way that would impact my client's plan for this project. So what we're proposing here is a project that is very similar to so many houses in the neighborhood. I can point to 15 houses that are within this neighborhood, which again, you have to consider is not just confined to the very few abutters, but there are a majority of homes that have a garage, living space over the garage. Now, it's actually pretty dated to have no living space over the garage. What we think we're doing here is modernizing this site. We're going to be improving the landscaping. We're going to be improving the parking. We're adding indoor parking. We're adding exterior parking. We're preserving the tree. We're bringing it down so that the house is in keeping with the scale of the neighborhood. And I think we're doing a lot of good things. So for that reason, I think we had abided by what you suggested. And I think we hope that the board sees what we've done here and weighs favorably on it.
Very good. Further questions from the board? I don't have any further questions. Yes, Mr. Gulati.
So what is like the ridge or the mean roof height going from the last iteration to this iteration?
The prior highest ridge line on the previous structure was 25 feet, 4.5 inches. Today, showing you the highest ridge line is 24 feet, 11.5 inches. I think the zoning matrix allows up to 30.
I'm sorry, you lost me there. Can you?
Sure, 24, pardon me, went from 25 feet, 4.5 inches to 24 feet, 11.5 inches.
So that's 25 feet, 4.5.
It's a 5-inch decrease over the last.
Yeah, okay.
Now that's the ridge line, that's the highest ridge line. We've also removed the center gable. So if you look at what we submitted in the third version, there was a center gable on this property that created massing that would have screened, I suppose, sunlight from both sides. Now this doesn't do that.
Okay, and between the two iterations, this iteration tonight and the prior iteration, what's the change in square footage?
Actually, there's been a slight increase in square footage of about 10 feet 12 feet on the first floor. It had to do with, previously we had a gable that was front gable that was supported and notched at the corner. We no longer had the notched at the corner, so they just filled it in with.
Is it offset at all by any decrease in square footage on the second floor?
No, no, it's not. But the prior iteration included, and this is where I was, again, I'm not saying it's a sleight of hand, it's what architects do. If there is living space with a ceiling above under 6 feet, it does not count as interior living space. In the prior plan, we had more of that interior living space under 6 feet, and it didn't count. Now, with the way these gables are lined up, we've actually reduced the roof mass, but we've raised the gables, and in doing so, we're gaining square footage. It's really not changing the massing at all. It's just changing the way the roof angle to get the gable above 6 feet at the exterior edge of the property.
Okay.
You know what? I've done a pretty careful look at the neighborhood, and this seems to be, I don't know, I can't say if the building department's steering people in this direction or if this is just what local architects are preferring. But this idea of creating gable, second floor living area in these gabled dormers seems to, accomplish what this board is trying to achieve in keeping the scale of these homes down. And that's what we've tried to do here. I also just want to point out that when we were considering this new design, we had an exterior access window on the 20 Erie Avenue. Because that also came with a larger window, we decided to put casement windows in the front above the garage, which meet the fire protection code, and then move an awning window that's only 20 inches wide to the side to keep down, to help increase the privacy for the neighbor.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Delisle. Thank you, council. Further questions from the board? Closing questions from the board, we're going to deliberations. Again, we're deliberating.
I have a question.
I'm sorry, pardon me, I'm so sorry, Ken. Mr. Swan.
Yes, thank you. You reference three other houses on Erie Avenue that have similar expansions. And in fact, in your PowerPoint presentation, you showed them. And I'd like to go to them for a moment. I don't know if you have them, Caitlin, but the first one was 15 Erie Avenue. It's right across the street. This one here. Yeah, it's that one. This one, according to the assessor's records, is 1,664 square feet. So it's substantially smaller. But to me, much more significantly, this is a far bigger lot. The lot you are on, according to the assessor's records, is 0.12 acres. This one is 0.42 acres. It's over 3 times the size of the lot. And this whole conversation has really not been about how big it is. It's how big it is on such a small and tiny lot. So could you please tell me why this is your first comparison when it's considerably smaller than what you're proposing to build and on a lot that is 3 times as big?
So, Mr. Swan, I would say that the reason we were asking you to draw your attention to that particular lot is because it's directly across the street from the house that we're talking about. It really does create the immediate neighborhood. That house is no closer to the street than the house we're proposing. And again, we're not asking to expand the footprint of this property. We're asking to do a vertical expansion. We currently have a house that's 11.5 foot. It's post-war construction. It's underbuilt. It's actually, it's time to restore that house. Okay. And what we're proposing here is just a modernization and to bring a new family into this house, to bring a new community into this house. I don't think we're intending to bring in outsiders. I think we're looking for people that appreciate what Newburyport has to offer and want to add to it. And lastly, I want to point out, we're not here on a variance. We're here on a special permit. This does give this board a lot more latitude to consider where this neighborhood is headed and what within the coordinates can be where the client and the board can work to accomplish what will be a better result for the town.
Chris, can you point out that they're adding an ADU on top of the garage that's 900 square feet?
Oh, well.
Can you go to the next slide, Caitlin, if you don't mind?
There has been some talk at these meetings, a recent sale in the neighborhood, and that there's an assumption that that's going to be a cave. I think we need to, take that with a grain of salt. There's been some conversations with that owner. There's no reason to think that he would build anything less than what, and a cave is not necessarily what he has in mind.
Could I ask a follow-up question? Because my question was about lot size. And we've heard it from a lot of you abutters that it's a very small lot. And one of the biggest reasons you're here tonight is the lot is very small. And what I don't understand, all 3 of these houses you point to on Erie Road are on much bigger lots. All 3 of the houses you pointed to as something you'd like to build are on much bigger lots. And I don't understand. Please answer the question of why you're not considering the size of the lot.
Mr. Swanton, I would only say that we're not disregarding your concerns with that, but we are staying within the zoning matrix and we are staying within the existing footprint and we are bringing the property in from the sideline. And for that reason, we're seeking a special permit to do a vertical expansion. We're intending to modernize and improve this neighborhood. The concerns, that I've heard, I think are going to be addressed through the engineering. I don't think it's, the town will put this property online if there's going to be sewer concerns from it. So some of these concerns are overplayed, I think.
Well, my question repeatedly has been about the size of the lot. I'm not going to ask it again, so I have no more questions. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Swanton. Council, anything that you wanted to add before we close?
No, just that I appreciate everyone's time on this. I realize it's a tricky issue. I just think that, this is, people are going to come through and seek to renew this neighborhood. And that's all my client's attempting to do.
All right. Thank you, Council. Any further questions before we move into deliberation?
No, but you're gonna close public testimony so we can deliberate? So-
We've already closed public comment. This is just the questions from the board, which I'm about to raise now.
Okay.
Deliberations. So with that, we'll close questions from the board and we'll now enter deliberations. And again, as the board knows, we're deliberating the legal criteria of the special permit. The special permit application before us. Who wishes to start things off? Mr. Ivory?
Yeah, I mean, well, I was the one who really pushed for eliminating the bedroom over the garage as a reasonable way to go forward. Yeah, again, I just want to remind the board that the zoning matrix is relevant only in telling us, what the zoning is if you were starting from scratch and you had a conforming lot. What's before us is the homeowner, every homeowner essentially in Massachusetts has a right to tear down their house, it's non-compliant, and build it right back to what it was. If they build something that's bigger, that doesn't comply with zoning, they need a special permit, and we make this finding about substantial detriment. So what we're comparing it to is the existing building. And I just want to reiterate, I didn't think that the board, certainly I don't feel that you have to build a one-story building. So for example, there's case law on this. If all we cared about was affordability, we wouldn't let you build a second story. I mean, looking at the assessor's record, the property was purchased 2 years ago for about $665,000. It's actually assessed lower now, 500s. Once it's redeveloped, it's going to be worth a lot more. And obviously a two-story building and with more bedrooms and more bathrooms is worth a lot more. So I understand the goal. There's nothing wrong with that. All American. Yeah. But the fact is, this is one of the smallest lots on the street on one of the most under-engineered streets in the city, where people are already encroaching on the right of way. So I thought we were really trying to get to yes. And there would be an opportunity to completely demolish the old thing that's been there for decades, which is passes for affordable housing in Newburyport, and build something brand new. And anybody can move in. There's no limitation, that you don't have any, whoever it is, it is. Right now, as I understand it, the house is two bedrooms and one bath. If they had taken our suggestion and eliminated the massing over the garage, I believe it would not fit on the street, would not overwhelm the lot. They'd still have 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, maybe even 3 baths, because there's a ground floor. So it was a significant intensification. I felt, okay, that wouldn't be substantially detrimental. I could be comfortable with that. But there's been no give here. That's their decision. I'm a bit surprised. It's a mistake. I think to approve this design would be a mistake. This is a chance. It is a street that's changing. And you do this in all the small lots on the street, you're really going to make life unpleasant for the residents.
Thank you, Mr. Ivory. Further deliberations?
I'll go. I weighed in last time that this was on the cusp of being substantially detrimental. It fell on the side, but I didn't think it was, and I support it. And I'll just restate, I support the application as, even though other people made suggestions to change it and make it a slam dunk. I think I was the only supporting the application. I'll say that.
Good. Thank you, Mr. Shannon. Further deliberations? Mr. Bennett?
Comments. Well, in my view, the matrix is indeed relevant. For this project, it's relevant because let's understand issues such as scale and mass. So when we look at that, it's not simply just relevant to a new structure. My colleague would suggest it's certainly relevant how we assess and analyze scale and mass. So at that point, I know that this structure will meet the front, the side yard. Lot area, the height by feet or so. So those factors suggest to me that this structure but does not have a significant on the name. It is just as the test to approve a very much flexibility. Finding beneficial, which I have not find that beneficial aspect of the neighborhood, the size of the other homes in the neighborhood, the fact of the size of this proposed structure, the existing condition of that house, all of those counsel me to conclude that this is a positive neighborhood. I discount the notion of sewer problems. There's no credible evidence in this record to support those statements. There's just not. If the city were concerned about that, it would be here to put that. There's no such evidence, so I don't accept it without any credible support. Secondly, the privacy issues have never been an issue to me. We live in a city, and when we live in a city, we give up certain benefits. My home in this community is 10 feet away from my neighbor. You know, for a minute, I have concerns that they're looking through their second-story window in my bedroom. These things do not happen. People do not do those things. Illusory intent. All of these reasons, I find that more than that meets the test. Special permit.
Mr. Bennett, I didn't mean to skip over you, Mr. Ginta.
It's okay, I was contemplating on. Thanks, Derek. Hear what everybody is saying. I mean, really, what bothers me in all of this is we've been through multiple meetings. The neighbors have come and given some opinions. Doesn't seem to have impacted this home at all. I watched your last meeting. I felt like you sort of led the way as a board or some ideas that could get us someplace, and those ideas haven't seemed to be taken to heart either. So it is a large home on the lot that and that's just a fact that they can't get away from. And I'm sure the bigger homes across the street look great, and there are lots that are 3 times the size of this lot. So that's my thoughts. At this point, I wouldn't support this. I just think they are putting a very large house on a small lot, and they're ignoring their neighbors at the same time.
All right, thank you, Mr. Ginta. Mr. Lyle?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to agree with members Tigerman and Ginta. I do think that we've got some problems here in that the scale and the massing isn't right in the lot. The lot is 5,400 square feet where 10,000 is required. And given that, I'm just having a real difficult time with this design as proposed as it relates to the structure and mass. I think that, there has been very incremental movement in the right direction. I think this is a design that is better than the prior design, which I said was better than the original design. So I think it's moving in the right direction, just at a glacial pace. I don't know if there's any getting to a resolution on this, but at this point, I can't vote.
Mr. Swan?
I I concur with my colleague, Mr. Delisle. I think he said it very well. There's a lot of very small lots on this street, and they have quite small houses on them. And I'm not against putting second stories on, but we've said it before that this one is too large, and it changes so little, a glacial pace, if you will. And I'm just disappointed because at the last meeting, I thought we had come up with an idea around not having the room over the garage. And now we see this. And also I wanted to point out on dormers, those dormers, I mean, Newburyport has dormer regulations. These dormers technically aren't dormers. The continuation of the first floor face of the building goes up another story. So, I mean, I have a hard time even thinking of these as dormers. But that aside, it's not that important because I'm not against putting a second story. If you happen to have a small lot on Erie Avenue, I think you can put a second story someday, but this one just goes over the top. And using the comparison of the houses on Erie Avenue who are on far bigger lots, to me, is just misses the point, which is the relationship of the massing to the size of the lot. So with that, I cannot support it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Swanton. At this point, I want to take a quick pause, council. I suspect your clients to do done the quick virtual polling of the board members that are voting this evening. Of the 5 voting members, myself included, in order to succeed, of course, we need 4 members in the affirmative, and we've heard from all but myself. And it seems that no matter what I might vote, I'm happy to share my sentiment. There's mathematical impossibility to get to 4, given what we've heard from the parties that are the members that are voting. I don't want to. I'm happy to continue and go over.
No, I appreciate what I do hear my clients asking me for a moment if I just have just a brief recess here to consult.
Thank you. And ladies and gentlemen, we're going to stay on the record. And thank you for your patience, the audience, anyone who's listening online. It's a board who just want to measure twice, cut once. They say. So,
Just take a recess.
if there are going to be more than a few moments, I mean, I'd rather not if they're just going to pop back in. It's going to be more than 2 minutes. I want to set a specific time. It's exactly 8 o'clock right now. I'm going to, unless council's about to walk back in the room, I would suggest a 5-minute recess. Walk the record. We have the quick motion to go off the record for 5 minutes. Recess. All those in favor? Oh, I'm sorry. Quick motion. And moved by Mr. Ginza, seconded by Mr. Bennett. All those in favor, this voice vote. Aye. Aye. Any opposed? No votes. Abstentions? The ayes have it. Recess 8:05 sharp. We'll be back on the record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yep.
I can use it.
Sure.
And it's paused.
No, she can't get what she wants.
It's over here. Yeah.
You might not.
Yeah.
Okay, we all back? Missing anybody? Great, it's 8:05. We'll go ahead and if we could, and it being 8:05, we're now back on the record. All here at council.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate the opportunity to consult with my client. We have had a conversation, reaching this decision about 3 bedrooms, 4 bedrooms. It's not just an arbitrary thing. It's really a business decision, and a lot has to go into that decision. And the economics of this project, as it presents itself, are pretty tight. When we look to go to a 3-bedroom, it's going to change substantially the units. We'd like to try to find a way to make this work. We're asking this board if we could continue this matter, give us the opportunity to reconsider the business plan, which will allow us the opportunity to find out if in fact we were to put a structure that more readily satisfies some of the comments of the board and the abutters. We'll try to do that. And if it turns out that we have an economically unviable opportunity, then we're gonna have to work on that decision as well. But with that said, if we could possibly get a continuance, and given what your agenda looks like, we'd be fine if you put us out to September.
Okay, thank you, Council. I certainly appreciate the careful nature of the work. And we too don't want to proceed without equal care and deliberation. So with that, do we have any sense of the board's sentiment to a request to continue for vision? Do we have any, this would be the 4th continuation.
Oh, yeah.
I suspect, and I'll say this too, there may well be earned opinion on the part of some members of the board with respect to, it seems to be a request review, only to see very similar, strikingly similar revisions back before us. We understand, it is what it needs to be, and the applicant's got every right to hold firm. the board has to hold firm to its sort of collective sense. If the board is, in a moment, we'll find out if the board's inclined to entertain the continuance, I would say it's just one voting member. Colleagues, given how pressed our schedule, I think we have to be very judicious and would insist that the applicant use this opportunity, maybe the last opportunity, if in fact is inclined to make this project better. So with that, members of the ZBA, anyone wish to be heard on the request? Any sentiment one way or the other? And if so, this would have to be out to September. That which I feel strong about. So, why don't we start with Mr. Bennett?
Yeah, I'll move.
Mr. Swanton, did you have any?
No, I like what you said about it'd be nice if this is the last continuance, because it'll be 5 public hearings then, and I don't think this should continue indefinitely.
I feel strongly that way as well. And for the benefit of the applicant, applicant's counsel, the owners, of course, and the members of the neighborhood who are here for the 4th and soon to be 5th time. It's not lost on any of us, and I'll just speak for myself, that we call upon applicants or individuals who wish to speak to continue to wish to speak, but sometimes this work is inconvenient when pursued to be the best version of a conclusion. And that's what we're aspiring to do. So thank you for the indulgence and patience. With that, we have a motion to continue. And what's the date in September that we can?
We have September 9th or September 23rd.
September 23rd? Okay. Do we have anything on September 23rd? Okay. Let's keep in mind that board comprehensive permit may be delayed on that date too. So, okay, we have a motion to continue the requested date of September.
Did the motion contain? That's it.
Or you can end the drafter of the motion can
Too punitive.
Well, I mean, I think that we've made it clear on the record. It seems like what I believe is our collective sentiment. I always hesitate to condition motion this far out, because, but I'm not the drafter of the motion. If you attach a
Yeah, I
condition,
won't direct.
we
Just a suggestion.
we hoist it up and see if the majority salutes. Okay, so do we have a motion to? I think it's pretty clear. Certainly. With or without the condition, does the ability to not continue again. Okay, do we have a motion? Thank you, Mr. Bennett. Second. Motion seconded by Mr. Delisle, made by Mr. Bennett to continue to September, was it 23rd? On the roll, Mr. Delisle? Yeah. Yeah. Mr. Shannon?
Yes.
Mr. Ginta?
Yeah.
Mr. Swanton?
Yes.
And I vote yes, so 7 in the affirmative, the ayes have it, motion carries. Matters continued with caution, a courteous caution to further continuances. So we'll see you back on the 23rd.
Thank you very much for your time, report.
And thank you all for your patience, folks. We'll hopefully see you back on the 23rd of September. With the rest of the. Okay.
Thank you.
On the board of adult discrimination.
Okay, concluding the public hearings, we have now our business meeting approval of the minutes of June 24th, 2025. Any comments, revisions? We got a clean record, but I love it. Motion to approve the minutes.
Yeah, we edited last time.
So this is what this means. We're changing.
They're very small.
The motion to approve. So moved. Seconded. Motion's made and seconded. This is a voice vote. All those in favor say Aye. Carries.
Aye.
Mr. Delisle. Sorry. Other updates, just want to say, well, thinking about this, and I know Mr. Ireland's, many of you might be thinking about the idea of us taking a formal rule change effort or run toward the final retirement of online participation at zoning board meetings. My only, I completely support that, by the way, and it's something we can do if we so chose with a rule change, notice and a vote. We would republish. We would republish. Yeah, certainly. Sorry. We'll republish the, republish the new rule if that's something that we carry. The only concern I have, well, actually, you know what, Caitlin? Caitlin, we can't shut the door. I'm sorry. We're almost done. So,
Would that, if we did that, that would also remove our members from doing what Ken's doing, wouldn't it?
Well, wait a minute, so,
no,
in the world before COVID, there was a way that you could participate remotely if you were a member, if there was some extenuating circumstance.
right.
So I'm not trying to change that, and our rules actually never changed. It's like with COVID, the board rules were never changed. So even if the state rules change. So you could still. Which is that, if, somebody has to call in, you can have.
Excuse me. Certainly understanding how you have the right to have a conversation. Please. Yourself and please behave. Thank you very much.
Well, anyway, I had emailed staff and Rob because they missed the last meeting, and to me, that was the final straw where, on Bromfield, nobody appeared for the applicant, and they all live in Newburyport. So you had two neighbors, you had the applicant calling in, the attorney, I guess she's in Beverly, the architect. So, yeah, get it, she wanted to call in, but it's just not human, it's necessary.
And I agree, it's a disruptor. It's disruptive in the.
It's harder also to control. Bud was chairing it, and at the end, one of the neighbors was all sawed off, and he wanted to tell us off, and he broke in after we were done. Public comment was over.
Yes, and there was no way to shut it down.
Yeah.
I listened to qualify myself for that one as well, and there was a large portion of your analysis that was completely not on the audio at all.
That's the owl did.
Yeah, you went silent and talking and we could hear it in the meeting. But I have to say, having the applicant and the applicant architect not physically in the building struck me as very.
I think that it's time, and I feel that as though the question really boils down to, is this the right time to adopt this change now that we've already opened into the 40B application? Does anyone have any opinion or feeling about one way or the other about undertaking a change in the middle of that?
I don't. I think we've been fortunate on the 40B actually. So far, so good. I know something's gonna go wrong. Just know it. Yeah, I better off doing it in person.
I like that people can watch at home. They don't necessarily have to participate. Like folks that can't get here, they can watch what's going on. I think that's important.
Is that something we can basically they can watch, it's broadcast, but not participate.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I would say, I had a conversation with Director Port today, and you think that's a good idea.
I
Stream it.
I agree as
and
well.
watch, but I hope that.
And it also, it insulates and inoculates us from, the potential break-in, disruption and the, to have, to have our meeting hijacked in any way. I mean, obviously, we never, thankfully, I guess our work has just never risen to that level, but that's never happened here, and I understand that it's happened once at council. And I guess I'm not surprised, you're dealing with a much larger constituency, citywide, that matters, long and far, so I get it, and that would be, an extra complication that I just assume would like the plague, right? So how about we do this? Why don't, if the board's inclined, let's put this on our agenda for the next meeting, and let's have a public deliberation, consideration about it, and let's publish.
Yeah, if staff could just take the rule, the city council had the rule before, you just copy and paste it, bring it to us and we vote on it. And that rule does allow remote participation of, like, Tommy O'Brien would be down in Jamaica. So there is a way.
I think that's, as long as if we put the public on notice, on that, we're gonna be taking that rule change by putting it on the agenda and publishing it out as part of the, the stream of information in the ordinary course. We will reiterate it and clarify it for the entirety of the room and all those online, that the ship's about to sail. So,
Can I make a comment?
Yeah, please.
Yeah, I mean, I've attended the last 2 meetings remotely because I'm finishing up building a house for my daughter about 2 hours to the north of where you're sitting. And I don't plan on doing this very much more because it's horrible. I mean, the video is fine. The audio in that room is horrible. I can hear the chair and I can hear the person at the podium. But as to the rest of you, you're in and out constantly. And I agree that meeting last time, I think there were only 4 of us and I was online. So only 3 people in the room. And it was miserable when 9 Bromfield Street was trying to present because the audio went out several times and the architect, the applicant, we couldn't hear anything that was going on. And so I think it's almost a moot point. The audio is so bad in that room that if we can get away from, if we can tell people you have to show up when you make a proposal, I think that's positive. And I'd like to comment on some of the other things you said, but I couldn't hear a lot of it, quite frankly. And I look forward to being there in 2 weeks. So thank you.
I think we're all on the same page on this. I think it streamlines our work. It simplifies it. It also, galvanizes us from potential misuse by, those that might want to disrupt a meeting. And I just feel safer about the whole efficiency of the meeting. Honestly, we're not going back and forth, public comment online and in the room. I mean, that just eats up time. So why don't we, I think if everyone's on the same page, that's what we'll do. And we'll just put that on next meeting's agenda. And then I love that city council already has a rule that just simply.
I think procedurally, if somebody is calling in, every vote is roll call.
That's the old rule.
Right? There's no voice vote. You gotta go first to person, every single thing.
Yeah.
I don't know why that is. I understand that correct.
Yeah, that's right.
Because you can't discern you can't.
It's really to help the note taker and the chair. It's just chaos.
Yeah, potentially it's chaos. And especially with the scrutiny of a comprehensive permit, and all that's on the line, our work has to be, has to be an approach, has to be its best. So I'd love to have everybody. So that's, yeah. Love it. I mean, we're members of, members of the board and our distinguished note taker, included, can be remote. Okay, we don't really need to take a vote on this. We just discussing it during the ending chair. Anything further? And if not, then we have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Moved and seconded, all those in favor? Second motion carries. The second was Mr. Dwyer. He seconded in his.
Even if he didn't.
He seconded to this point. Yeah, Steve just pointed to it.
Just got a technology thing, when we listen to the